golf is all about putting the ball to a hole.
Basically, it is putting the ball in the hole, but it's not as easy as it sounds.
It is such an honor to have you as India's first person who could represent and go to semi-finals of R&A Amateur Championship at UK last year. And how was that experience all about?
It's always, representing your country. It's a matter of great pride.
I would like to see what is there in your bag today, Mannat, and also maybe because I've heard it is a luxury game and it is quite expensive.
The entire kit altogether is rather expensive, but I think if you're playing professionally any sport, then any kit would be expensive.
Yes. I see that in golf, there are very less number of people who get a chance to play. Maybe because they do not have access to a golf course.
Frankly, I feel people are just very afraid of golf. They think that it's only for the high class. It's nothing like that.
What is Indian government doing to promote this game?
There are some aspects that are regulated by the government, but I think it's definitely not as much as cricket. Cricket is so popular and golf is absolutely nothing to cricket.
People have their some lucky club or lucky t-shirt or some kind of that thing.
I am trying hard to think about something like that, but I don't think I have one. If I'm not traveling with my dad, then maybe giving a call to my dad before the round.
You make friends on the way so easily, or you stick to some friends, bunch of friends, and then you miss them when you change the place?
I feel like when you're so engaged in a sport and you have literally no time on your hands, it's very demanding to actually go to more people, make more friends. So I feel it's really difficult mentally.
So this is not the right time right now. So you're focusing more on your game. That's good to know, and that is actually where your focus should be.
कुछ पाने के लिए
कुछ खोना पड़ता है.
So I think the personal life is what I have learned to let go of.
Welcome to Unheard Tales podcast. As you know, we dive into unheard stories. So today, we will be bringing to you a journey of passion and precision that makes champions on this lush green fields. So I would like to welcome my honorable guest, Mannat Brar. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So you had been busy playing all the day. Today in the morning, what time did you start playing?
Morning was just a bit of mobility, stretching in the beginning.
Okay.
And after that, now we are here with you.
That's good to have you. It is such an honor to have you as India's first person who could represent and go to semi-finals of R&A Amateur Championship at UK last year. So how does it feel to represent India internationally? And how was that experience all about?
It's always, representing your country. It's a matter of great pride, and there's no better feeling than having the country's flag by your name. So I think it was absolutely surreal, and being able to reach the semi-finals and doing something that's not been done before for the country, I think it was truly an amazing experience.
It was such a proud moment for all of us as Indian to see you there playing for all of us. So I would like to know, at such a young age, how did you start playing golf? How did it all begin?
So it actually began in Pune itself, and my dad he used to play, and he's the one who introduced me to it, and he suffered a neck injury, which was rather unfortunate. But then he could no longer play, so then he encouraged me that why don't you pick it up, why don't you try? And at that period of time,
At what age were you at that time?
Yeah, that was around 11, when I was 10, 11.
Okay.
So I was playing lots of other sports, so I was like, why not start another one? So that's how it's all started.
And what is your daily routine? How much time do you give to this game?
When exams are not approaching, I would say about 7-8 hours, including everything, including conditioning, workouts, practice.
7 to 8 hours of a day you dedicated to it.
Full-time job.
Wow. That's great to know. And I would like to know more about, I've heard that the grounds are very different. At each golf course is different. Yeah. So how does that make a difference in your game?
Golf, it's very subjective to the golf course you're playing at. And because there's so many variables, there's the ground, the texture of the ground, the type of grass that there is, the weather, the winds. So all of these natural climatic conditions, they influence our sport so much that wherever you go, you could go 10 kilometers away from here and the conditions would be different.
Okay.
So that's something which is quite, that's a variable factor that you have to cater to.
And the weather conditions are almost different when you play here and in Europe. So does that also impact your game or the technicalities of it?
Greatly, it affects us greatly because like in the R&A Girls Amateur Championship, it was quite cold, and the girls, I'm not accustomed to playing in such cold conditions, so I was freezing. So the girls there, the English girls, they were around
Absolutely
half
fine.
shirts, yeah, and while my hands were freezing, so of course it's still.
And then you must be wearing a gloves or something, isn't
Yeah,
it?
to keep our hands warm, otherwise our hands were freezing. So
And then playing with the girls is something you will have to adapt to yourself to hold that club, right?
yeah.
Okay. So I would also like to know, because you have played so many games and weather conditions. We were seeing one of your videos from Vishakhapatnam's game when it actually started raining. So what happens when it rains? So does the match end? So what happens?
No, unfortunately not. If it is a dangerous situation, supposing it starts lightning or there's thunder, when it's actually dangerous for the players to play, only then the game is paused. But otherwise, if it's rain and even if it's like a good amount of rain, you have to continue. You have to play in the rain. There's nothing you can do.
So now talking about, because these games requires a lot of mental and physical balance, and you need to have a lot of control on your mental and physical balance. How do you maintain that before each of the tournament which you go to play?
The mental aspect is something that you actually learn over the years. It doesn't. If I would, maybe in the first 2-3 years of playing golf, I had no control over my mental aspect. But now, after playing for 6-7 years, knowing that you can't have expectations, knowing that you can't burden yourself too much, and knowing that at the end of the day it's just a sport. I think these are the things that you learn as you play more and more, and this is what you have to instill in yourself. So I think with time you really learn.
That's a wonderful thought I have heard from such a young player, that she has so much clarity about how to bring that mental and physical balance onto one's life and to have that balance in the game, on the ground. So it's such a fantastic thought you have instilled in yourself at this younger age. I would also like to know, is there any set of rituals which you follow before the tournament? Like, people have their, some people wear, they have some lucky club or, lucky t-shirt or some kind of that thing. So do you believe on any such rituals, or any one ritual which you could share with my audience?
I am trying hard to think about something like that, but I don't think I have one. But because before the round there's so many things happening, you're trying to warm up, you're trying to do so many things, so I'm not really able to stick to anything. I think maybe if I'm not traveling with my dad, then maybe giving a call to my dad before the round. I think that could be one thing that I do very, very often, and something like that.
So that brings me to the next question I'm curious about, to know your source of inspiration and your mentor in the golf journey.
I think it's definitely been my father, because I've seen him, come from nothing and reach wherever he is today. And I think his qualities is hardworking. He's hardworking and very, very focused. And once you choose something that you want to do, and you just you do it with all your will and everything that you have. I think that's something that I've learned from him.
That is something I would also like to talk about to my audience, because in younger generation, where we see people are now taking up many options on their plate. I mean, they go for swimming, they also go for, say, dancing, they also go for, say, cricket, badminton, but then at the end they are not able to pick one of their passion, and they are not able to pursue that one passion. They are not focused, and that's where I see, I would not blame the generation. Maybe it's a both-sided kind of a thing. When someone has to go to a passion, it is both the parent and the child which has to go in coordination to achieve that target, and I see that in a complete balance in your case. So you're very fortunate that you have such a wonderful dad. Now I would also like to know that if you will have to name someone who will be your inspiration or you look forward to be in the golf game, then who is that one player?
I think it would most definitely be Shubhankar Sharma and Diksha Dagar.
Oh wow!
So they both are Fauji kids. They've come from the army background.
Okay.
And my parents, they're also close as well. So I think I've seen them follow a very similar path to mine, and they've also faced similar struggles of moving around every 2 years. So I think they're both Olympians.
Okay.
So I think their journey is very inspiring for me, and it pushes me a lot.
And with this, I think there's another question which comes in my mind is like, because in army life we see every 2 years you keep moving the city, right? You keep moving the city, you keep moving places, your friends changes, and the circle changes. And in that changing situation, like how do you adapt to to keep that one passion, because you might have a bunch of friends who might be going to dancing together, and then you change a place, your friends might change, your passion might change. Then how do you manage in that changing scenario?
Very popular phrase we say, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना भी पड़ता है. So I think the
Absolutely.
personal life is what I have learned to let go of. So I think yes, I have friends on tour, so I think they are the ones holding me together. But other than that, it's very clear my whole life.
So
is
what
golf.
kind of person you are? Like you make friends on the way so easily, or like you stick to some friends, bunch of friends, and then you miss them when you change the place?
I think I'm definitely I think if I wish to, I can blend in anywhere. I can make any friends, but I feel like once when you're so engaged in a sport and you have literally no time on your hands, it's very demanding to actually go to more people, like make more friends. So I feel it's really difficult mentally.
So this is not the right time right now. So you're focusing more on your game.
Yeah.
That's good to know, and that is actually where your focus should be, because you have so much of recognition. So coming to that recognition, I would like to also know that at the age of 17, when you got such recognition, how does it feel? Because with any recognition which you get, there also comes a responsibility which you have to bear, because people start looking at you with a very different perspective. So how do you take that burden and recognition onto your plate?
I think it's never been a burden. I feel recognition wise and achievement wise, I don't think I have done anything great, because I feel my goals are so big and they're so high, and that what I've done now, it's nothing in comparison to what I aim to do.
Okay.
So I think that's handling the achievement and recognition is really easy. But as far as maybe being a role model for the younger kids, if that's concerned, I think I just plan on keeping my eyes closed, looking down and working hard, and I think everything else will just fall in its place.
Yeah. So coming to that, I would say that in India there are a lot many sports where people are pursuing quite easily. Right now, the India market has opened up. There are so many sports which you are seeing is upcoming. People are going into javelin and lot many other sports which was not so popular earlier, but now we see people are choosing those kind of a thing. But still I feel, so maybe I might be wrong, but I see that in golf there are very less number of people who get a chance to play. Maybe because they do not have access to a golf course. So what do you think is like in India missing or can be developed to bring such of so that we could introduce people to also golf as a sport?
I think, frankly, I feel people are just very afraid of golf. They think that it's only for the high class. It's nothing like that. It's yes, you talk about expensive. It could be slightly expensive, but if you're just trying out, like as a beginner, if you want to start, it's not very different from the other sports. Like if you're trying for badminton, you need a racket.
Yeah.
You need a badminton court to
Yes,
play.
right.
So it's the same way. Yes, you could rent a golf club. You could go to the nearest golf course. You can maybe get a couple of balls, get 50 balls, go to the range. So it's not that difficult. I think golf is just not as popular, and people don't know that how accessible it is.
Yes.
So I think from our side also, from the people who are already veterans of golf, I think from our side also we have to do more to introduce and popularize the sport.
Yes.
And I think even I think it's something for the people as well. They should not feel that golf is only for a certain class of people, but I think it can be quite
It is for everyone.
Yeah.
So Manat, that's a great thing that you have told, that it's very easy and people should come out of that mindset that it is not meant for only the elite class to play and everybody else can also go and play. Now, I would also like to know that how can this game can be made more accessible to the people?
So I think the easiest thing that people could do, or maybe if they want to start their kids to play golf, is just very simply look up on Google the nearest golf course around you, and maybe you can give them a call and you can just ask if they have some coaching camps
coaching
or,
camps.
or you can get in touch with a coach. Maybe would charge per hour or per half an hour. And I think the coaching camps, they're a great way, because in those camps there'll be more children who are coming.
Okay.
And they're quite affordable too, so that it could be a camp for a week, 2 week, where
Like a
there'll be
summer
lots of
camp?
kids. Something like
Oh,
that.
something like that,
Yeah,
okay.
so you can go there. The children will be going there every day, and they'll be learning, and the coaches they'll take care of
Okay.
everything, giving you balls and guiding the kids on how to start. So it's just tiny bit of effort. Just one, it could be one call away.
Yeah. So, like in many other sports, like people say that you have to play for 6 months or say 7 months to understand that game and to understand whether I am actually meant for that game or not. So, how long do you think is sufficient for someone to understand whether golf is their cup of tea or not? Whether they are sure about building an interest?
Yeah, no, that is a great question, because golf requires a lot of patience. And people, they would come on the first day, they'd try and swing that hockey stick, and they wouldn't even be able to contact the ball, and they'll just, they'll feel sad about it, and they'll just think of, giving it up. But it's not as easy, but it's quite rewarding. So I think if you can really stick to it for about 2-3 weeks,
2-3 weeks is
and
efficient.
maybe
Okay.
come maybe twice or thrice a week, spend half an hour, maybe for 2-3 weeks. I think that would give you a right perspective of whether this is your cup of tea or no.
What is the age limit? The upper limit and the lower limit, because I also see a very people at an older age also playing golf. So what is the age limit when people can start and can end playing? Is there any age limit associated to golf?
I think the best thing about golf is that it does not require any age limit.
Okay.
You can be as young as 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
You have plastic golf clubs for
Oh.
children that you can buy from Amazon. So, and for I think the older age people, it's the best sport to play. It's not as harsh on the body, so you can alternate to your own liking. If you don't want it to be too intense, you can play it for a lesser amount of time. So there is no age limit at all. You could be of any demographic, and you could definitely enjoy the sport.
Okay. Now coming back to what is Indian government doing to promote this game? Is there anything taken care by, like we see there is cricket association by government, there is also like football clubs which is run by government, or government helps those kind of athlete to come up. So is there something which is also regulated by government in India?
There are some aspects that are regulated by the government, but I think it's definitely not as much as cricket. Cricket is so popular, and golf is absolutely nothing to cricket. So I mean, I would say there's nothing much that is being done for golf actually.
Okay.
Yes, there are not as many players playing this sport, but I think there's a golfing legend called Greg Norman, and he had just come to India for a really big event that we had in Delhi, and he quoted that India is a sleeping giant in golf, and you have such a large population, and such a large population of such hard-working people, that this is just a gold mine. India is a gold mine for golf.
Okay.
So I feel if the government would pitch in, they would try their best to promote the sport. I think you could find some diamonds in here. That's what I'd say.
So how would you, like, if you have to, suppose if the Indian government is watching this show and you'd like to request one change that should happen as a golfer, what is that one change would you like to ask for?
I think if I could have the mercy of asking for two changes.
Two changes, okay. What is the first one?
I think the first one would be to invest a little in golf courses.
Okay.
Make them of decent quality, because
Okay.
our golf courses in India are nothing as compared to foreign ones. So if a little bit of attention could be paid to us, so that
Absolutely.
would be great. And also if there's quite a big field of junior golfers who are playing, who are around the age of 10 to 15, 18, and they are the upcoming legends, or they are the upcoming world number ones.
Yeah.
So I feel at their grassroots level, if they can be helped out financially, or they could be motivated, and if they can be they could be sponsored, and they can be helped out to go to international events. So I think that would be really great.
Yeah. So do you need, like, mandatorily you need sponsorship for going outside to play internationally?
I mean, if you're resourceful yourself, then of course you don't need anything. But normally, none of us are
Yeah,
that
that.
exorbitantly wealthy, and we don't even need to be to play golf. So, the Indian Golf Union, they do send the Indian team sometimes for a few
For a few golf
couple
courses.
of events in the year.
Okay.
Not as many as it should be, but
Okay.
it's a. Of course, now it has to be improved if you want to see
Yeah,
some better.
yeah.
If you want to have a better golfing future.
Okay. So now I would also, because I see you have your exams coming up, you are in class 12, and let me tell the audience, she's just 10 days away from the exams and she's standing here giving a podcast with me. I'm so honored that I am getting her precious time out of that exam schedule and her morning routine schedule. But I would also like to bring up this topic because in India I see most of the children, they start at early age, they are very eager that my child should start at early age of say 5 or 6, they should start into some sport, some games or some hobby. But gradually as they grow, I think by the time they reach 8th or 9th is the time when either children says that they don't want to pursue it any further because they now want to concentrate on studies, or maybe it's like parents who tell them that beta abhi rehne do, bahut ho gaya, then now you should concentrate on studies because exams are nearby. So with that balance, I think most of the people who actually feel like playing, they also somehow they set back and they sit at your comfort zone and they leave it. So for that, what is your say? Like, I think your case will be the best case to motivate such people who are watching this show right now, will get motivated to keep that fire alive in them. So please, can you tell something? What should you tell to those kind of people who leave their journey in between?
I think I've also know many people who came to 10th standard or 12th standard and they just suddenly left their sport because exams padhai. But I think from the parents' perspective also, it's really important to know that the human body can do a lot. Like I know that even in the 10th grade, I had international events in between, but and then I had to study as well. But I scored pretty good marks in 10th, so I scored just about 90%.
Wow.
So I feel you can, if you are focused and if the child is motivated enough, you can do very well in studies and play your sport. So it's not that it's either or. So like even in 12th now, I think my preparation is going pretty decent and I am practicing as well. So it's not a case of either or. I think you can study and you can do a sport. So I don't think parents should tell their children, or even the children should feel as if they can't play a sport if they have to study. So I think you can do both.
You can do that.
Just
It's just that
focus.
willpower and
Yes,
focus.
absolutely.
Now coming to the future prospect, what are your future plans? What is the kind of tournament you would like to play in future?
I think in the near future, I'm thinking of turning professional soon. I'm still an amateur, so
Okay.
that's the goal of the near future. But ideally, in the long term, I think the dreams are to be playing in the Olympics. I think
Okay.
that's the dream, and to be playing on the LPGA tour. Hopefully,
Okay.
be world number 1 someday. So I think that is.
Surely, we wish you all the best for that, and you will definitely be there. I would also like to know some of the tournaments which are quite famous and a kind of tournament meant for women to play. So is there any tournament which you remember should be played by the women's or women's play generally?
Like for the professional women's, obviously, this is something that the normal public could watch as well. So we have a very prominent tournament. It's held in India, mostly in Delhi. It's called the Hero Women's Indian Open. So it's sponsored by Hero. It's the largest women's international event that we have in India. So
You played it as well in
Yes.
2020,
last
just
year.
last year, 2024,
Yeah, in
right?
October.
Yes, in October.
So thankfully, I was the best placed
Yeah,
Indian.
yeah.
So I think that's something that is really important for the Indian golfing community, so they can get more exposure, and it's helped us a lot as players. And it's the LPGA tour. It's the Women's Professional Golf Tour. And I think that's just the topmost tour any woman golfer could be playing on.
Okay.
And I think we had to talk about. It's called the Chevron Championship. So
That is something when I read about it, I was very interested. I actually wanted you to talk about it to my audience and tell the fact. I will not talk about it. It's you who should tell.
So basically, in the Chevron Championship, it's customary that the winner jumps off into a lake that is near the 18th green, like
Okay.
near the end. So it's just a celebratory move,
Okay.
and the winner normally likes to pull off. It gets
So it's
quite
just at
famous.
the end moment you just finish it and the winner is announced and then you jump in.
After you get the trophy, once you've been declared winner,
Okay.
then just as a part of the celebration,
Celebration
go and
and jump in the water. So do you wish to go for that tournament as well? Definitely. Definitely. So if you're listening to her, please get motivated and don't leave any of your passion, because these passions are the only thing which will keep you alive in a long way to go in your life. Because I have seen in later stage of life when people actually get into work and all that, then they suddenly realize that, oh shit, I left that passion and I now want to pursue it back. But then sometimes if the body will not allow you to take back sports, suppose if you are playing a sport, you left it, and then you cannot start in the mid-age. So it is something I would recommend everyone to listen to her, see how she is managing it well between academics and career and personal life. So this is a complete balance which one has to maintain if you are having dreams to achieve in your life towards passion. So it was such a great, wonderful talking to you. It was such a nice day and we wish you all the best, and it was such an inspiration for others also watching to see you and to know your mindset and your routine, so that people can get motivated and we see more Indians coming up at the golf spots. Thank you so much. Bye. I would like to see what is there in your bag today, Manat, and also maybe because I've heard it is a luxury game and it is very quite expensive. So maybe you can talk about maybe how much does this all entire equipment which you see here cost you?
So the entire kit altogether is rather expensive, but I think if you're playing professionally any sport, then any kit would be expensive.
Would be expensive. How do you calculate it? Like how many strokes should be like apt for going to a hole?
So I think we can start by sharing that there's the golf course, entire golf course, it's divided into 18 holes. So 18 parts.
Yes.
So each of the holes they have different length, they have different topography, you know, they have different obstacles in there. So we have par 3s, par 4s and par 5s.
Par five.
So the main motive of this is to maybe play like a norm. So in a par 3, it would be that the norm would be to hole it in 3 shots.